10 most frightening plants. If you're on a lookout for a worthy houseplant, you probably have a pretty placid vision in your head. Inoffensive succulents, photogenic ivy, maybe some bamboo. What are you actually not worried about? Installing a bona fide horror show in the comfort of your house. We love plants. They calm down, they enhance your decor, and they minimize carbon dioxide levels in your home or even in your workplace. Yet there are a lot of plants you wouldn't want to find in your surroundings. Well, if that's the case, you can consider that some of the most scary plants in the world are also some of the most beautiful in the world, in a stunning, completely special way. For a one-of-a-kind space and an infusion of terrifying atmosphere, put some of these frightening finds in the corners of your home. For today's video, we will be giving you the top 10 most frightening plants. But before anything else, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to keep you posted on our latest updates. Let's begin. At number 10, Kuskuta strangletare. Sometimes looking overgrown and tangled, Kuskuta, also known as strangletare, is not dangerous to human beings, but it is definitely frightening to learn about. Occupying a ghost-like role in plant life, the strangletare can leech life from its host plant, detaching itself from its own roots in order to live solely on the hard work of other vegetation. Strangletare thrives in hot climates, with only 4 species native to northern Europe. It's a parasitic weed. It has no chlorophyll and cannot make its own food through photosynthesis. Instead, it grows on other plants, using their nutrients to expand and weaken the host plant. Despite the fact that Kuskuta is unpopular with farmers, it has a long history of folk use, particularly as a medicine. At number 9, Bladderwort. Everyone knows about the Venus flytrap, but did you know about bladderworts? Bladderwort flowers, like fly traps, feed on whatever prey they might capture in their snapdragon maws. You're not going to see bladderwort on the grass though. Bladderwort lives in fresh water, so next time you go swimming wild, try to watch for this carnivorous bladderwort. Bladderwort plants are rootless aquatic, carnivorous plants usually found in shallow ponds, lakes, ditches, marshes, and streams and rivers. Throughout the summer, the stems are crowned with light yellow to purple flowers. At number 8, Daring Woods, Screaming Wood. Daring Woods is located next to Pluckley, the most haunted village in England in Kent. Daring and Pluckley are said to house between 12 and 16 ghostly inhabitants, along with 1,069 people living there. However, the trees themselves do not seem to have any impact on how this forest has become a hot spot for the supernatural. If anything, what's really scary is how its ghoulish popularity has contributed to its downfall. Campers looking for a thrill come down on the Screaming Wood, hoping to encounter a famous ghost, leaving a trail of litter in their wake. Pluckley Village spent £6,000 on litter clearing, and further £41,000 was sunk to try to defend Daring Woods from possible ghost hunters. So if you're going down to the woods today, you better go with an eco-friendly mentality. Both the ghosts and the people will be thankful. At number 7, humongous fungus. The colloquially called humongous fungus spreads through the U.S. underground of Moher National Forest. A mushroom that transcends centuries, the humongous fungus is considered to be between 1,900 and 8,650 years old and occupies an area of 3,700 square miles. If you ever get to see these woodlands in the state of Oregon, try not to worry too much about the mushroom expanse rising secretly underneath you. At number 6, white bananaberry, doll's eyes. Its most striking characteristic is its fruit, a 1 centimeter diameter white berry, the size, shape, and black stigma scar of which gives the species its common name, doll's eyes. Both the berries and the whole plant are known to be poisonous to humans. Berries contain cardiogenic toxins that can have an immediate sedative effect on human cardiac muscle tissue and are the most toxic element of the plant. The ingestion of berries can lead to cardiac arrest and death. As if they were not sufficiently unsettling, these plants are extremely poisonous to humans, causing heart arrest or death on ingestion. Alright, we're halfway through the top frightening plants you might not dare to see on your home. How are you finding these plants so far? Keep on watching because we still have a lot more in store for you. At number 5, bleeding tooth fungus. If you stumble upon a graphic scene of blood-like secretions oozing from the forest floor, you probably won't forget about it. This horror-worthy mushroom is known as the bleeding tooth fungus. Mushrooms are still very odd-looking plants, known to have several poisonous varieties, but in the sense of being identified as fairy houses, mushrooms can be a little cute. Bleeding tooth fungus, on the other hand, would not be considered a good habit for any fairy. As its nickname suggests, this fungus produces a sticky, jammy substance from its pores. To be honest, if I were a fairy, it would make me squeamish too. Look if you dare. Together with oozing pores, this fungus also has tooth-like projections under the mushroom cap and a root system that helps it to spread 11 feet across the forest floor. But beware, though it's not poisonous, bleeding tooth fungus is said to be so bitter, it's not edible. Next is familiar but a silent killer. At number 4, tobacco. Tobacco is grown in more than 100 countries, and in 2004, some 5,073 million metric tons of dry tobacco were grown worldwide. In modern society, it has become a much maligned herb. All parts of the tobacco plant are extremely poisonous, specifically the leaves. While it is so unexpectedly harmful, tobacco are still continuing to be used globally with its estimated cause of more than 5 million deaths each year. Tobacco may not be visibly frightening, but it's a silent killer that's going to kill you silently. At number 3, the infamous corpse flower. To mankind, the flower of the corpse is one of the most fragrant plants in the world that people don't want to smell. It smells like a chance to feast beetles and flies. They think there seems to be rotten meat somewhere to lay their eggs, and this also allows the flower of the corpse get pollinated. Corpse flower is famous for having the largest flower on earth, but also for releasing the most foul scent of rotting flesh. The corpse flower can reach a height of 3 meters. Its unusual scent is an evolutionary effect that has evolved to attract carnivorous insects to pollinate. Or worse, the corpse flower will warm up to resemble death flesh as it attracts flies and dung beetles. And that's disgusting to own that kind of flower. At number 2, we have the brain cactus. If you're a collector of succulents in Halloween, we found a creepy plant you're going to want to add to your Halloween decorations. With stems that curl around each other in a rounded shape, this cactus looks like a living human brain in a clump of worms. Just as the name indicates, the brain cactus looks freakishly similar to the human brain. Brain cacti are not, in fact, harmful to humans, apart from the prickly spikes, so that you can keep them as indoor plants if you like. But you should first understand the background of how the brain cacti grows. Brain cacti are a type of Kuskuta cacti that develops into these brain-shaped forms if they are wounded at a young age. And last but not the least, at number 1, we have the red tide. Red tide, as this event is usually referred to, happens around the globe in every ocean and sometimes in freshwater tributaries. It is entirely normal and caused by massive accumulations of microorganisms such as phytoplankton, which can be scientifically known as algal blooms. But more often than not, surfers and swimmers have a poor understanding of red tide. Like, did you know that it has nothing to do with the tide and the possible threats that penetrate the lineup? The red tide is still an omen of ill-bearing, irrelevant of the time of day it hits. It is toxic algae growing from the seafloor, which can occur during a particularly bad storm. It is also not particularly appealing to look at, being somewhat reminiscent of psycho shower scenes. But what's more horrifying is the devastation that it has been discovered 2 weeks later. Fish and marine life will begin to wash dead on shores and beaches, having been poisoned by toxic algae in the water. And that's it for our list of top 10 most terrifying plants. Scary, but also a reminder of how fascinating and complex living creatures are in our environment. What other surprising plants do you know of that didn't make it in today's countdown? Let me know in the comments below, because we would love to hear it from you. Before we end this video, please don't forget to share and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.